Hey y'all. Hey. I just wanted to hop on here and testify of this week's of goodness, how can I put it in words? Um to testify again of the goodness of God, but and of what he's doing, and of the evolution, and of the process, and of the growth and the development and the I'm full right now. Um Rich in my spirit. So last week I talked about posture. This week I'm talking about confidence. Um, from that point, from that angle of now that I've gotten up, now that I've regained my posture, now that I'm in a posture of receiving, of giving, of loving, of being vulnerable, being open, being honest with God, um, submitted to Him, yielded to Him, and allowing Him to direct me and show me what it is that He desires for me to do. He's shown me. And I got anxiety and I got a little bit afraid and a little scared. And so I said, okay, well, what is this fear? What is this? And identified, well, let me backtrack, go back. I've been challenged with identifying traits that I believe that will that I desire, that I want for my life, and eventually that will be a part of me, that will be a part of my everyday, the way I am and who I am going to be. And so I identified methodical, I identified disciplined, and I identified frank, being open, honest, sharing in an honest way, lovingly, like in a loving way, in a loving manner, giving the truth in love. And so those three traits, the first one, as I did my research, as I've been studying and doing the work on that one, it's more structured, more formation, more line upon line, it's more foundational. And so I definitely need that structure. If I'm going to maintain this posture, I definitely need structure. And so methodical is very key. Discipline is very key, because in being methodical, I gotta have discipline. I gotta have that discipline to help to remain consistent, to keep that formation, to keep that structure where it needs to be. And then frank is just basically just a part of who I am, that has somehow over the years, as I've done research and I've done a self-examination on myself, analyzed myself, I have pushed it down. It's something that I used to thrive in. I used to not necessarily like to do it, but it's like I see it and it's like, oh, I want to say something. And I did. And every time I did, it was not received well. And so little by little, I can see over the years where every time it wasn't received well, every time it was criticized, every time there was backlash, I just kept pushing it down. Every time I had something to say, even if it was shared in love, with love, and not in a condemning way, not in a way of pointing my finger, not in a way of I'm better, none of that. Just, this is what I see, and I believe this, or this is my opinion, or whatever. And so that has been something that I believe that is being groomed and being shaped and being formed in me. I believe that that is something that is really gonna take work. And so that's the gist of today's video, confidence. So my first takeaway as it relates to confidence is he said in his word that he will perfect that which concerns me. So if I'm concerned about what someone may think, if I'm concerned about how this may make them feel, if what I share is stifled, if my voice, if my expression, if the language by which I speak offends, there are criteria, things that need to be set in place for me to understand that if this is truly God, if this is truly Him that has put this unction on my heart, that has put this matter on my heart, that has put this person on my heart, that has put this issue on my heart, and I am to deliver it and give it in love, then I gotta know that He's perfecting it. It's a concern, but He's perfecting it. He's maturing it. He's developing it so that it will be seed for that person, so that it will be planted. Whatever it is needing in that season. It could be that I'm watering in that season. All I know is God gives the increase. So that's my first takeaway. Second, He hears me and He's concerned. He hears me and He cares for me. So there are several excerpts in the Bible where it talks about He heard me. He heard my cry. He heard my prayer. Or, even before I uttered a word, He heard me. So I know that He hears me. The latter part is where I need structure and to build on that. He cares for me. In some instances, I know it's without a shadow of a doubt. I know He did this because He cares for me. And then at other times, I'm looking back, reflecting, processing when I was writing this down, and I'm like, do I really believe that He cares for me? And so that's my second one. Really just honing into that, understanding that yes, He cares for me. There's so much that He has done. There's so many people that have written about how He cares and His nature and how He is. And so that's my second takeaway. The third is He is helping me to build and to erect the structure. He is helping me to build this confidence, to build up my most holy faith, to build up a boldness and a level of security in Him, to where when I speak that truth in love, with love, coupled with love, that it will be received well. That it will be received well. He's helping me to build and to erect a structure that when I'm in this structure and I'm operating in this structure, there's going to be such a level of discernment, which He's already allowed me to flow in that, just I can see just bits and pieces of it. But and as I flow in this discernment, as I flow in this structure, as I'm going through this structure, the discernment is opening. The eyes of my understanding are being unlocked. I'm being enlightened in my mind, in my intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, relationally. I'm learning how to operate in this structure. The structure of faith, belief, believing, the structure that is going to be a foundation, a critical foundation for my confidence. And so for the fourth takeaway, he is strengthening me and he is enabling me, empowering me. So if I know that he strengthens me, if I know that he enables me, and that it is him inside of me empowering me to speak this truth in love, and it's not me on my own initiative, on my own will, in my own power, in my own strength, it is him, that gives me another level of boldness to speak it in love, to speak the truth in love. And so the biggest thing that I see out of all these points, I agree with. Everything that I've processed, everything that I've worked through and written down, I believe. Now is the transition of, I got to make the decision. I got to make that choice. I got to remain decisive, because I've been decisive up until this point. It's just a little speed bump. I just got to get over this speed bump. Make that decision and make that choice. And it's not so much as a decree and a declare, and because I've been decreeing, I've been declaring, I've been praying, praising, worshiping how much that I love him and I trust him and I believe him, and I know that he holds all power. I know that there is nothing that is impossible with him. I know without a shadow of a doubt that he holds all power. And so now my reflection, my focus, my attention has to get off of self, off of me, and onto him, back onto him, into his, I got to get his sight again. I got to get his mind again. I got to continue to keep refreshing myself, keep refreshing myself in the word, renewing myself in the word, allowing him to do what it is that he does best. When I'm weak, he always strengthens me. When I feel like I cannot, he enables me. When I feel like I'm weak and I'm just at my lowest and I can't go no more, I get this extra burst of energy out of nowhere. It's like our bodies are wired in such a way. It might just be me. My body is wired in a way to where when I lean all the way into him and I let go of what if, how, if, this, that, all these questions that I have going on in my mind, and just be free and say, I trust you, then it shifts gears and it allows him to take over and to do what he does best. And I see him move mightily in a lot of things that just happened in my life this year. And I'm determined, and I am standing firm on what I believe, on what I've learned, on what I've heard, on what I've seen him show me, or what I've heard him say to me, on the things that I know that he has done. I'm going to stand on that. I want to stand on that. Even though I feel that this is an area that needs to be improved upon, that it needs to grow, that it needs to be more, no matter how bold I get, how courageous I get, I believe that I will always have to lean into him. I believe that God will always be the one that I have to trust in for this structure to operate the way it's supposed to operate. For me to flow as he desires for me to flow, I gotta lean into him. I gotta trust him. And I'm reminded of a prayer. So I did a prayer this morning that set me on fire and reminded me the same, everything that's on this paper reminded me. You gotta keep yourself in a place of faith, in the vein of faith. Stay in the vein of faith. And so I'm gonna keep that fuel for my faith. I'm gonna keep my faith focused. I'm going to keep my faith aligned. I'm going to stay in a posture of faith. I'm going to stay in a posture of believing. I'm going to remain in this place of prayer. I'm going to remain in this place of decisiveness. And I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be courageous. It's on video, so I can't even deny it now. No matter how much I decree and declare it, and don't get on video, but now it's recorded. It's recorded. This is not a moment that he don't take. His words are not my words. His words, they stand, they're strong, they're immovable. His word is a buckler to those that trust in him. His word keeps me. His word sustains me. His word develops me. His word prunes me. That's what his word is doing with these 3 traits that I desire to improve on, that I desire to grow into and develop into and mature into. And I just acquired Methodical a couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago. So that was a new one. So I really want to improve in that one. And I believe that it is possible. And I believe that there is nothing that is too hard for him. And so, yeah, the gist of today's video, my confidence is in him. My trust is in him. My reliance is in him. And I go back over the takeaways, the points. He is perfecting that which concerns me. So my confidence is in this. My confidence is in he is perfecting that which concerns me. 1. My confidence is in he hears me and he cares. 2. My confidence is in he is helping me to build and erect the structure. 3. My confidence is in he is strengthening me, enabling me, and empowering me. 4. Those are the 4 takeaways that I have for you today. And I already know that this is going to be great. I already know that he's going to do great things. I have a how can you say it? They used to say, the old folks used to say in the church, I got a quickening. I believe that it's coming. In my natural mind, I don't see it, but my spirit knows it. My soul has come into agreement with it. And so it is. And so it will be. And so I am. Because he is. So, yeah. So, that's the gist of today's video. Have a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, whenever you watch this. Be beautiful.